Hello, my name is Linda Williamson, and today we're talking with Rona Godin. Thank you for joining us, Rona.
You're more than welcome.
First of all, I want to congratulate you on your award of Senior of the Year 2021.
Thank you very much. That was a very nice surprise. Very nice. And this is the award.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And it says, Senior of the Year Award 2021, presented to Rona Godin by the Municipality of the Township of Schreiber in recognition of your outstanding contributions to your community after age 65. It's a very nice award.
It is a nice award, and I thank the township very much for it. It was a shock. Did not expect that.
Well deserved.
Thank you.
What was the award for?
It's for volunteerism, but mainly my volunteerism after the age of 65. But I've actually volunteered all my life.
Can you give us some examples of where you've been volunteering?
Food bank. Years at the food bank until my body couldn't take it anymore and I had to give up doing the actual work. I still sit on the board, which I enjoy.
Can you tell us a little bit about the food bank?
We incorporated in 2005, I believe it was, and I was sitting in a meeting the other night and there was only 2 original members.
Oh, wow.
At the meeting. But that speaks well.
Definitely.
Because there's new people coming on. And we always need more new people.
That's true.
Yeah. And younger people than the rest of us, because we're all getting to be old fogies. Well, not all of us, but most of us. I was part of the incorporation of the food bank, and that was wonderful. Peter and Marlene Doig, and I believe it was Maureen Revens, started it out of one little wee closet in the United Church basement, and it grew. Now we have our own building, but there was a lot of work. They had to totally renovate the building, which they did, and everything that went into that building, all the work, volunteer. No cost, which was absolutely wonderful because I saw the building before they started, and then we went in when it was done, and it was like, holy mackerel, this is nice. Even all our shelvings came from one of the mine sites.
Oh.
They gave us all the shelving that's in the building.
Nice.
And it's in 2 rooms, and it goes around, it's quite large.
Did the food bank building exist before the food bank?
Yes, it used to be the Schreiber Hydro warehouse.
Oh, okay.
And of course Schreiber Hydro joined up with Ontario Hydro, so they didn't want the building, and it belonged to the town. Because Schreiber Hydro belonged to the town. So, they gave it to us.
Nice.
To use.
Uh-huh.
And as I say, it was all volunteer, and that is absolutely amazing because they had to build up the floors, they had to tile them, they had to make rooms. They put in a washroom, thank God, because you always need a washroom. Mm-hmm. Housing, when they were changing fridges at Collingwood Court, they gave us 3 fridges.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was absolutely wonderful. Peter Doig built some shelving so that we could put stuff up above the fridges. I mean, we had industrial ladders. Like, you climb up and you've got a platform. You can set the locks on the wheels. Uh-huh. You needed that on that shelving. But it was terrific. And, we didn't think we had that many clients to begin with. And then we started putting together Rossport, Schreiber, and Terrace Bay. And we're all under the North Shore Harvest cupboard. And they run the whole thing, and we still get wonderful support locally. We joined up with the Rfda. We became a member of that, so we get food from them. And, it's amazing how much you go through. I was just at a meeting on Monday night, and they were talking about how generous people have been in this past year making donations because you're not getting a lot. We weren't getting a lot, and then the RFDA was bringing in more, and they started sending more. But that meant that we could then give the people more, because you have to limit what you give them because you don't have enough to give them unlimited. And we developed a program where family of 1 to 2 gets this, and then 3 to 4 gets this, and then 5 plus gets a different amount. And you know what? They'd come in before COVID, and we'd give them the slip, and this is what you can take off the shelves. If we had it.
Right.
Didn't always have it.
Mm-hmm.
And it has worked really well. And now they're getting more food because the Rfda is sending out so much, because they're getting so much from Southern Ontario.
What is the RFDA?
Regional Food Distribution Association. I think it's association. I can't remember. You have to be a member, and we are a member. They do almost every food bank in the area and in the city. They're located in the city.
Mm-hmm.
They will ship food down to us on pallets, and it's nothing to get in. And I don't know if you know what how big a pallet is. It's 4 by 4 by 4, and it is loaded.
Nice.
They have to bring it in by machine,
Mm-hmm.
and then you start unpacking.
That's great.
Yeah, well, and that's part of what screwed my shoulders off.
Oh.
At one time, I was the heavy lifter there. Now, when I realized that my shoulders just were done and could no longer do it, I resigned that position. But I recruited my replacement.
Yeah.
She had just retired, and Aileen Ross came in, and now she's the food coordinator.
Nice.
Because that was my title, food coordinator.
Yeah.
I was the overall food coordinator, but we also had a food coordinator in Terrace Bay, and we worked together. And we have set hours, and we're only open once a month.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've got a good supply of food, but we can't afford to be open every week.
So what if somebody finds himself in an emergency situation?
They can call.
Okay.
They can call, and they will be served. We have a policy, and I don't know whether they're sticking to it or not, but we've had some sort of sketchy clients. Not exactly normal resident subscriber, but people going through
Mm-hmm.
and we made a policy that nobody could go on their own.
Yes.
If you have to go for an emergency, it's 2 people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we do have a cell phone there for emergencies. Can't make a long distance call on it. We set that up. T-Baytel gave us the phone.
Oh, nice.
And they gave us the service. Or Bell gave us the service when they found out that we did not have a phone in that building.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't. We don't have internet access in that building. We don't have a phone. Didn't have a phone, so they gave us a cell phone.
Nice.
And at one point I was changing my cell phone, and it was brand new, and I was going from a brand new Samsung to a really old iPhone. Dumb thing to do, but I did it anyway. And I gave them my new Samsung.
Oh, nice.
You try and upgrade.
Yeah.
And one thing I've learned is that if you're getting rid of an old phone, make sure you keep everything with it. You can donate it to Marjorie House.
Well, that's good to know.
Scrub it as well as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Give it to them. They give it to the OPP in Marathon, and the OPP in Marathon go through it and make sure that there is no personal information on it. Because I cleaned mine out. I cleaned everything out of mine. And
Right.
you don't give them the SIM card. You just
No.
give them the phone.
Right.
If a woman is going home to a situation that is not really good and there's a threat of violence, they will give her a phone. All she has to do is keep it plugged in. She doesn't need a SIM card. So long as it's charged, she
Right.
can call 911.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I found out about that, I've given them several phones already when I've changed them.
Yeah.
And probably get one in next year, because I'm going to change my phone next year because I really don't like the phone.
Well, that's nice to know, though, because, I mean, Marjorie House is another service in this area that is helping a lot of people.
Yeah. And at Christmas time, people give more. For the families that have children, they get gifts.
Mm-hmm.
The kids get gifts. Not so much the parents, the kids get gifts. And
Yeah.
I think when the kids get it, it's a gift for the parents.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. And in the past, we used to phone Marjorie House to see if there was any families over Christmas. with children, and if there were, we made sure those kids got gifts.
That's great.
Yeah. I think for the last few years they have been working over capacity. And it's been really difficult because with all this stuff that's going on, you know, people need shelter, and unfortunately. Fortunately, in Scriber, and I don't know about Terrace Bay, but in Scriber, I don't think we have anybody in Marjorie House. But we have had people who have used it extensively.
It's a wonderful service. I mean, it's sad that it has to be set up, but
Thank God it's there.
The resources are there so that if a family was to need something like that, definitely.
Yeah. I've gone down. Now, the CWL has one meeting a year, and they collect stuff for it, Marjorie House. And I went with my friend one year. She told them I was driving it to Marathon, so fine. I don't care. I have an SUV. It's easier to put in my vehicle than her car.
You're right.
I could not believe how much we were taking because that was packed to the roof.
Wow.
And we got there and we started bringing it in, and the lady that was working that day was just standing there with her mouth open because of the amount of stuff that people in Scriber had donated.
And you also volunteered on the Scriber Public Library Board.
I've been here since 2006. Right after I retired, the end of 2004, and I knew what I wanted to do with my life was volunteering. And that's what I worked at getting into. So I got in here, and then darling Pam McKeever, in one of her wonderful moves, nominated me for chair. And said, no more nominations, you're it.
And how long were you chair?
Up until 2 years ago. Maybe 2 years? No, about a year ago. I know Donna is retiring, and I always said I would retire with Donna, and then I started thinking about it. And that's not fair on the new CEO coming in, to lose the chair and your CEO at the same time. So I resigned as chair about a year ago, and I did that so that the new chair coming in could get experience and be able to work with them. Yeah. But I still work with Donna on some things. Like we've had a few meetings this week for budget. As long as Donna's here, I guess I'll be coming in to work on budget with her.
Well,
but we work really well that way.
The library definitely appreciates everything that you do.
Yeah. Well, you know, I got a different perspective of the library when I came on the board. And it was a better perspective. So I'm quite happy here. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your life in Scriber?
My volunteering started when I was very young. Do you remember the Guild Hall that used to be beside the Holy Angels Church?
I've heard about it, but I don't remember it.
The CWL put on teas, they put on suppers, people rented it for recitals, whatever. But my mother was CWL. And I can remember the teas, you would go in and you would make sandwiches, fancy sandwiches, rolled sandwiches, ribbon sandwiches, colored bread. I mean, it was actually fun. It didn't seem that much like work, but they had a kitchen in there that you would love to work in. Great big long table down the middle and lots of room. And I did enjoy going in there. Mm-hmm. I worked serving. My mother volunteered me a lot. She volunteered herself too. But that was the start of volunteering. I actually don't remember half the stuff that I've done. You just do it. You do it, yes. Yeah. It betters the community and it helps people. Definitely. Yeah. It helped me. I think a lot of it was selfish because I enjoyed doing it and I didn't care if anybody liked me doing it or not. I was going to do it. Well, there you go. And I can be bossy. How long have you lived in Scriber? All my life. 72 years. Yeah. I went away to school, but I came back. And I still live in the same house. When my mother passed away, I bought the house. And I still think it was a good move. Some early memories of growing up, like school or family. Yeah, school wasn't my favorite place, but I did well in it. But I remember summers because on the street where I lived, it was a dead end at one time. It did end it by the house you're living in now. And there were 47 or 49 kids on that street from the cross street at the other end.
Oh, wow.
Not even a block, just half a street. Yeah.
Wow. So you were definitely entertained during the summer because there was so many children to
And
play
then
with.
on the next street, there was a lot of kids too, and they were coming over our streets. And that's how we got to meet the Protestants. Well, you know yourself. We didn't mingle. If you had to walk through the subway to go to school, a lot of times there were fights, mostly the boys. And it just... But I actually never went to school with anybody from the Protestant school until probably grade 12. No, grade 11, 9. We never mingled. And that was quite interesting. Meeting all these other kids that I might have seen around but didn't know them. Yeah. Made some new friends.
Awesome.
Enjoyed it. Yeah.
Do you have any hobbies or interests that you like to do besides volunteering?
Reading. I'm a voracious reader. Absolutely. I cleaned off my coffee table and some bags of books that were on the floor in the living room. And I piled them up, and I have 47 books to read. Along with all the other books that I've read this year. I mean, I've probably gone through that many or more than that already this year.
Winter's coming. You'll have a lot of time to read them.
Yes, I will, because I'm not a winter person. I like making Christmas wreaths. This year, I have enough Christmas wreaths. I've been giving them away. This year, we're going to try something different. My cousin is coming down from Ithaca, and then we're going to pool all our stuff, and we're going to do, the big containers for outside.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do them. I only have one. She does about 5. She decorates more than I do.
Yeah.
I'm not a big decorator. So, and my northern alien is in my living room window, and I just think they're so gosh darn cute. And I get people telling me, no, they're ugly, and I just do not agree with them. I don't believe in aliens, but I just think they're cute.
What is his name?
Rourke.
Ours is Herbert.
Oh, okay. I bought 4 of them. I've given one away. I have another one that I'm giving away, but I have to mail it to Calgary. And there might be here in February, so she said hold it.
Yeah.
And then I'll just have one more to give away.
Nice.
I was going to give them as Christmas presents, and then I found out that the people I was going to give them to for Christmas don't feel an affinity towards them.
Oh.
To be polite. They think there's ugly as sin.
No.
And I don't.
No, they're cute.
I
Definitely.
think they're cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you do before you retired?
I was treasurer for the township of Scriber. And before that I was deputy clerk treasurer. And then before that assistant clerk treasurer. When I started with the town, there were 2 of us in the office. Aurel Gauthier and myself. And we were in the old town hall, and I know everybody hated to see that building go down, and I cheered. I'm sorry. I worked in it.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it was like. It was no longer... they could not renovate it anymore. It had been done to the nines. And it was just not a convenient... We had 2 rooms in there for the town office.
Oh, wow.
And the council chamber. They were in 2 rooms. It was tight quarters.
Yeah.
The library was in the building.
Mm-hmm.
The credit union was in the building. The hydro office was in the building. And that was on the main floor. Upstairs at one time we had a dentist up there, but there was a couple of meeting rooms. But I hated those stairs. Hated them with passion.
As a child going up there to see the dentist, we hated them too.
That was nobody's favorite place to go.
No.
That dentist was, I'm not naming him, he was brutal.
Yeah, it was a scary situation as a child, that's for sure.
Yeah. He could pull teeth. I also worked for Spadoni's for 5 years.
Oh.
In the store. in the office. I know.
Was that before you worked for
Before
the
I
township?
worked for the town, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I was nearly 31 years with the town and 5 years with Spidone's, and then in the summers I used to work at Glad's Motel, at the Circle Route Motel,
Oh,
checking people in.
nice.
And I like those jobs. I like people jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was treasurer, I was in a separate office, and yeah, that was a little, but I got used to it. And then I enjoyed the peace and quiet.
How have things changed in that line of work?
When I started with the township, I had a manual typewriter. I went from the store with an electric typewriter to a manual typewriter, and a adding machine that was 10 rows across and 10 rows up, and you had to punch them all in to get your total. Thankfully, it was electric. Thankfully, somebody one day came in and they tripped over the cord and knocked it off, and I had to get a new one. And I was really happy about that. But everything was done by hand. I used to type up the water bills. Yeah. When computers came in, they're wonderful, but I was atrocious at them. If they broke down, it was usually me. No, I will admit it. It was me, because I'd be touching things I wasn't supposed to touch because I was curious about them, and it was DOS when we got them. I couldn't understand it, so.
Do you feel that computers have made the job easier or harder?
Both. Easier in that stuff comes up nice and quickly, it's easy to access. But the amount of work to input all that into a computer was atrocious. I forget what year it was. I went to we were getting a new computer system, and I went to Waterloo for training for a week. And in that week, I had to devise a new coding system for all the accounts. I didn't even know where to start.
Yeah.
But I had it done by the time I got back. And then you have to put it in the computer, and then you have to learn how to work with it.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work. I got better on the computers. Not perfect, but better. By that time, Jerry Doucette was working, or Jerry McBride, and Jerry was extremely good on the computers, and she could usually fix what I messed up. With the numbers part, I was fine with. It was when I wanted to write a letter or do something like that I had issues at first. But I got over it. And could do it. And now I have a computer at home and I need to replace it, and I'm just kind of, I don't know if I want to replace it, because I can't replace it with the same system I've had.
That's true.
I had a Corel.
Yeah, those.
It's gone. My computer won't even accept emails anymore.
Oh no.
And I can't print anything off it anymore. Although it's hooked up to the printer, it won't print, which has been a little disconcerting, because there's stuff I want to print off and can't. So I've been going in and trying to eliminate everything that I actually don't need to carry over, so that when I clean it up, get it cleaned off, or download it onto another whatever, I'm only going to transfer what I need. I actually went in and did most of my Word files, and I changed them to RTF. Because they'll just transfer over. They're nice and easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I dump the Word files. But it's amazing. I did all the statistics for, in another stack, I did all the statistics for years for the food bank. And I developed my own program. And I know at one time the Rfda wanted some information, and I sent it up to them, and I've come back with, can we steal your spreadsheet?
Oh, that's awesome.
It was detailed. Yeah. And you have to do that. And it's detailed on the clients. You never put a client's name on paper.
No.
Nobody needs to know that.
No. That's true.
Yeah. So it worked out all right. She's not moving.
Come here. You want to go see your mom?
Yeah, this is the latest member of my household.
Welcome.
Linda's got my latest acquisition. Her name is Silky, and I rehomed her. My previous dog, Missy, I had to put her down on the 13th of October. And she came into my life on the 13th of November. I found out about her from a mutual friend, and if they couldn't find a home, they were going to put her down.
Aw.
And she's not ready for that yet. She's 12. She only has one tooth, but that's okay. She still eats.
She's a sweetheart.
And she is a beautiful, beautiful dog. She hardly ever barks. She likes to walk, which is good. It gets me out of the house and forces me to walk. And I just love having her. And you know what? She's 12.
Aw.
I'm not going to have her for 13 or 14 years, so I don't mind. I didn't intend to get another dog. Ever.
Sometimes they just come into your life.
Well, she did. And actually, I knew that dog from the day the owners got her
Aw.
and brought her home.
Aw.
Yeah, she is a Yorkie poo. She looks more like a poodle than anything else. She's got a tongue that hangs out because she's got no teeth to hold it in her mouth. And she's silly. I made her a bed because the bed I got with her was in the washing machine. And she likes that bed. It's just an old comforter folded up with a thin quilt on top of it. But she sinks into it.
Oh. I know.
And I put it where she can see me, where I'm sitting in the living room, but she can also see into the kitchen.
Aw.
And then sometimes she just comes and says, I want up, and I want to sit in your lap, and that's all there is to it.
You want to go see your mom?
Yes, silky, silky. And she is silky.
You're a little sweetie, aren't you?
When I bought her jacket, it looked small on her. Now look at it. It'll fly off her. But she will grow back in. I got her groomed because I wanted to, I got her groomed in a bath. Just make her feel better.
Yeah.
And then one of these days I'm going to take her down to see her daddy. Because he is in the hospital and unfortunately can't come home.
Yeah.
So she'll go see him. And I talked to him before I took her. And I got a big hug from him.
Aw, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was. I've known him for years. So
He'll be happy to know that his puppy is looked after.
yeah, well, he and his wife just adored her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's passed a long time ago, and now can't stay home anymore. And
No.
nobody to take her. No, nobody to take you. Everybody loves you, but nobody was wanted. The people that would have eventually ended up with her, if nobody had, and there were a number of them, I
Yeah.
found out afterwards, they already have dogs, and it would have been just maybe one too many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's a sweetheart, that's for sure. You're very lucky.
Yeah, well, she's
And
used
so
to
is she.
being with one person, so that's good for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
She is cute.
Yeah, she's adorable. So what are your thoughts of living in Scriber and the future of Scriber?
You know what? I think we'll be here forever. Yes, it's a small town. Yes, it goes through its ups and downs. But you know what? I don't think there's any better place to live. I did, after I retired a few years later, I thought of moving to Thunder Bay. And I got so far as exploring options up there. And then I realized I don't want to live in a city. I prefer to live in Scriber. It's a small town. I know a lot of people, not as many as I used to know because there's a lot of people who have moved in. But there's so much to do here. Like, I mean, our senior center is wonderful. I played floor curling last year. I've never curled in my life. I was not into sports. I enjoyed it. I would like to go back this year, but because of this, I can't. And that's the stupidest thing. I fell and broke my elbow.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Well, it was a stupid thing. I was moving a chaise, and I got caught on the rug. And then the rug let go, and I let go too.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I got rid of the chaise, and I got rid of the rug. Yeah, no, I really did. I did live in the city for about 6 months once, and no. I go down to visit my sister-in-law in Windsor, and I've been there for 3 and 4 month visits, and no, thank you. No, don't want to go. You know what? You get to a certain age, and you don't need all that energy. The one thing I do miss is I loved Magnus Theatre, and I love the community auditorium.
Mm-hmm.
Had friends. We used to go all the time. Sandy Quinton and I, every time we saw something we liked, we'd phone the other and say, "You want to go?" And it was, "Yep, let's go." And okay, who's getting the tickets? And we'd go.
Aw.
And I love that, and I have really missed it since Sandy passed. And I've got a couple other people, but they're not as free as Sandy and I were to go. And then I like to travel. I love traveling. I would really love to go back to Europe. I've been there a few times. I'd like to go back. But I don't like traveling alone. And I've lost 3 travel companions. So now I have to find a new one. Not everybody can afford it, and not everybody wants it. And they don't necessarily like the type of holiday I like. I don't mind tours. I actually don't mind them at all.
Mm-hmm.
I took a cruise to the Baltic, left from Copenhagen, and went as far as St. Petersburg, Russia.
Wow. That must have been exciting.
It was wonderful. And St. Petersburg, when we were looking at the brochure, St. Petersburg caught my eye because the Hermitage Museum is in St. Petersburg. And I've always been fascinated by it.
Uh-huh.
So that was my choice. That was where we were going. And for the friend I was traveling with was, okay, fine. And she didn't want to go. She did a different tour. I went to the Hermitage, and on the bus from the ship to the Hermitage, the tour guide gave us this little spiel on it, like, you cannot get separated from your group. If you do, it's your tour guide's job. They'll be fired. St. Petersburg was still very repressive when I was there. And then she told us it was a 7-mile walk.
Oh.
Inside. It's in a bunch of castles, and they're all interconnected. You never know which castle you're in.
Oh.
I did a 7-mile walk that day, and I can't believe I did it. Because I wasn't in very good shape. Yeah, I was in terrible shape for walking. It's after that it made me start thinking about doing something about that. And then I did it. And I have no regrets that I ever did it. I had a gastric bypass. It was worth it for me because health-wise, I was on heavy doses of insulin. And the day, within a month of having the surgery, I was off insulin totally.
Wow.
And I've never been back on it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I would like to have lost a little more weight, but my body decided, okay, that's enough. You're quit. You're not going to lose any more. So I'm content with it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing. You have to be happy with what you are and how you are.
Definitely.
And I'm happy. I've got good friends here. And I do things with them. Sometimes their interests are not my interests. But you know what? If they want help with them, I still help them.
Yeah. How do you feel about the future of Scriber?
We have our ups and downs. There's no question about that. I mean, we've lost people. We've lost businesses. Businesses have changed hands, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. Right now I'm on the fence on that one. And, but you know what, we'll survive. We will survive. It may not be what everybody wants, but it's fine. And you know what, if you want something big, you need something, Thunder Bay is only 2.5 hours away from us.
No. She looks so sad down here all by herself. I'm going to pick her up again.
She loves that because she really loves you. Eh?
And she is a sweetheart.
You love her, don't you? Oh, you're looking at me.
Thank you, Rona, for coming and spending your time with us and sharing your memories, and for introducing us to Silky. She is a beautiful, beautiful girl.
She is. And I am glad I took her. I didn't take her. I brought her home. I just rehomed her. She had a beautiful home, and through the illness in the family and no fault of her own, she couldn't stay there. And I had no intention of getting another dog. 1 month between my dog going and getting her. I'm not sorry.
I think you chose each other. And she's very lucky to have you.
Well, when I was talking with my friend and I asked her what about the dog, she said, I don't know, and all of a sudden I heard myself saying, I'll take her. No intention of doing that. It just came out, and I'm glad it did. And you know what? We need to see more of that. And we do see it in Scriber. I mean, people are compassionate and helpful. Small towns are wonderful. That's why I won't live in the city. I don't want to live in that.
Yeah.
I prefer to live here where, yeah, you know, we have our issues, but for the most part, it's a wonderful place to live.
I agree.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching.